Hi, and welcome to Tech Talks, the People and Planet podcast. On this episode, I'm joined by John Downie, the CEO and co-founder of financial wellness startup SteadyPay. John, hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, thank you, Lee. How you doing?
I'm really good, thanks. Thanks for joining.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure.
So, John, let's start at the start. If you could give, for the benefit of our listeners, give us a high-level overview of the problem that SteadyPay is addressing with the mission, and perhaps what inspired that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So at SteadyPay, we provide a range of innovative embedded finance products that allow our customers to offer credits to their customers much earlier than usual.
Okay.
And we call this approach fast track to credit. And we can guarantee to an individual or a business within 3-month period, despite no traditional credit history, some form of credit. So we like to think of this cool suite of products, including income smoothing and quick cash to help both our direct and indirect customers. In terms of mission, fundamentally, we're on the mission to improve the lives of those underserved by traditional finance players.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, we're fundamentally here to change the lives of everyday businesses and workers for the better. So when we think about it, we think about immigrants, young people, hardworking blue collar people who have potentially made a misstep in their early financial lives and are fundamentally underserved by those traditional players that really don't know what to do. And what we're seeing now is even a higher tightening of that sort of criteria and the need for those really simple solutions to improve your credit score, give a guaranteed path to credit, those essential steps to provide that income stability in what is more and more an unstable world that we live in.
Interesting, because I speak to a lot of people within the mental health kind of landscape of all this as well, and financial health is really, really linked into this, isn't it? I think.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I think what people seem to forget is, without that level of financial help or that stability, you're ultimately you're feeling that stress and you're going from paycheck to paycheck, and paycheck to paycheck is a really stressful way to live.
Yeah, 100%. And of course it gets, it's even more so at the moment with everything that's going on in the world.
Absolutely.
So you got, I think, 2 products within the app. That's right. I think a B2C and a B2B one. Is that right? Can you talk to us a little bit more about those?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I think, we'll talk about the B2C. So from a B2C perspective, we fundamentally offer 2 products at the moment, or more coming soon. So we have a credit building offering, which effectively helps those that want to build their credit score, back to the immigrants new to the economy, or those that have taken a bit of a dent. What we've seen, and with all our customers on this, because we've been going for long enough, is that within 6 months, every 6 months they jump a band. So let's say you were fair. Within 6 months you're good. 6 months after that you've gone from good to excellent. So quite a nice credit score progression. And the other big product is the income smoothing product on the B2C side, where what we're offering is income stability to those with an unstable income. So I normally earn $2,500 a month. For this month I earned $2,000 for some reason. We provide the $500 to make up the difference. It's interest-free, so think of it as a subscription-based model or a Netflix for credit style. What we've then done is said, nicely, thank you. On the B2B side, is we've taken our overall platform, so that we've created and now made our open banking risk engine, the income smoothing, and a number of other products accessible to our B2B partners to then offer to their customers. So when you think of what is an example of a B2B partner, think neobank, think somewhere where we're having that financial solution or access to credit adds to people's lives. So I either need to improve my credit, or I need that access to something relatively quickly and in an embedded and seamless way. So what we've found is it's very successful when it's seamless and when everybody's pre-approved. That's the other big one. So you don't want to have to apply, and have that. Am I going to be rejected? I might have been rejected in the past. So it removes a lot of that, a lot of the potential trauma for people that actually go, oh, I've been rejected before. How do I make sure I don't get rejected again, but still give them access to very cost-effective financial solutions?
And with the businesses that you would serve, are they predominantly small businesses?
Interestingly, so the end customer, yes, tends to be small businesses. So one of our partners is Anna Money, so ANNA.money.
Oh yeah.
They're a neobank here in the UK, and we work with them to embed our credit solutions in for their customers. And what they've found is that giving them a fast track to credit, so these are new small businesses, it allows us to effectively start to pour some fuel into what I see as one of the rocket sort of areas of the economy. The small business make a large portion of the economy and a large portion of the paychecks. So how do we, we collectively actually pour more fuel into that sector? Because that's how we're going to get out of the cost of living crisis, improve everybody's lives.
Interesting. Okay, so I said at the start of the show that I kind of paraphrased you as a startup, but you've actually been going a few years, haven't you? I think you're in your 7th year actually.
Well, I mean, a company's house looks like 7 years, but really FCA approvals and having an idea and then getting to market. So we launched at the start of 2020 in terms of a real product in the market, to give people context on that. So yeah, several years.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So all right, 3.5 years. It kind of been all smooth sailing, plain sailing. What challenges, you mentioned approvals just then, what challenges have you had to navigate? How have you managed to do that so far?
So loads of challenges, and happy to delve into any of them. So I mean, I'd sort of take them anywhere from, to give people insight into the life of a founder, anything from the professional challenges of like how to exit a co-founder or FCA approvals, through to personal challenges like marriage breakups. I can tell a tale on all of them, so we can get into those. But I think for me, sometimes I think about more of when you're dealing with setbacks, which is an inevitable part of being a founder or being a business, from being in those sort of senior roles, that they're going to happen. So for me, it's like how do I deal with those? So when I think of sort of how to deal with setbacks, for me it's acceptance. It's a part of the journey, and enjoying the ride in terms of the highs and the lows, looking through it for the lesson. What happened, why did it happen, how to improve. Being open to the lesson on it. Attitude, some would say relentless positivity. In this case, I actually disagree. So given that being a founder in these sort of journeys is a marathon, I try not to get too attached to being either too positive or too negative, which sort of helps me stay in that sort of balanced zone. And then the other one is leverage a support network. So from a support network, they're here to help, whether it's mentors, advisors, friends, borrow the neighbor's dog, doesn't matter. Whatever helps you is good.
100%. Okay, that's good. So we spoke just briefly before. You're originally from New Zealand. Just give us, for the benefit of our listeners, just explain your backstory. Where have you come from? What's the story there?
Sure, no problems. And here I thought I'd finally developed a London accent, but it turns out
a little bit.
Yeah. So yes, originally from New Zealand. So I mean, we touched on it already. I had the same problem that a lot of our customers have when arriving in the UK. I was relatively excluded from credit, which is where some of that comes in. And obviously I spent a large portion of my professional life there. It's a beautiful place. I built, scaled, and exited a business while I was there. Did a lot of financial services for a lot of banks, a lot of consulting, built a lot of projects. It's credit risk, which obviously helps from building out the SteadyPay type offering, and building and scaling a lot of teams, which again sort of helps in terms of a level of experience. I'd say that if you want to build a big, in this case, fintech business, you need to do it somewhere where you can access the right combination of progressive regulation, tech talent, and capital. And for me, that was fun.
Real. Okay. What's next for SteadyPay then? Anything exciting in the offing that you can share?
I mean, obviously there's lots of things next. I mean, I'd say we'll be in a new geography. That's probably a next year thing. We've got some great new partnerships coming online, and obviously I mentioned Anna. We've got another consumer neobank that will be launching shortly with us as well, and we'll be starting to power more big names with that lending as a service platform. We're also enhancing our direct-to-consumer propositions, so that B2C, to scale out and support more people in the UK. So what we've identified as sort of almost another need. So between that sort of building credit and income smoothing, have inconsistent income, is the, what if I have an emergency expense or a relatively small thing, and it helps the progression for the people on the credit building as well. So the ability to provide several £100, again, as an emergency expense, no interest. So you're not going to, that £200, for example, is not going to become 600. It's always going to be £200, and provide a nice, easy way of paying those back while still continuing to build the credit. So we're calling that product Extra Cash. That will probably launch sometime this month, maybe next month, depending on how the testing goes. But we think that's a nice intermediate product for us to launch. But for us, it's how do we keep listening to our customers and pushing new things out?
Yeah, brilliant. Okay. Last question then. We touched on it already, but financial sustainability is increasingly hot topic. Cost of living prices, inflation, all of that sort of stuff. What's your take on the future of financial wellness? How is it going to evolve, and what part in that do you think that SteadyPay is going to have?
But yeah, a good question. And it's sort of complicated in the sense I've got strong opinions, and I'll break it into two. So if you think about sort of financial wellness and how we think we can help from the cost of living where we're now, and then we'll come to the future piece.
Sure.
So for us, we believe that small businesses, they employ 60% of the private sector works in the UK, are the main driver of the economy. So by improving those, we can improve the overall economy. So we're helping those businesses with cash flow. We're helping individuals with cash flow. Will actually help us doing our little bit, or in terms of pushing some of those things forward. But we believe that sort of, in addition to the small businesses, fintech is sort of an ecosystem. So the more fintech players that are working together, actually the better things are. So sometimes you think people are competitors, in reality they actually work better in a partnering sense. What we've seen is that from a regulation and government perspective, they're absolutely part of the ecosystem, and there's a lot more that they can do to help drive the economy out of the doldrums we're in. So startups wise, easier and better support around R&D. British Business Bank kick off the Future Fund again, which they were using. So a lot of it's doing more of what they've already been doing in targeted areas. I touched on already in terms of fintech as an ecosystem, but for example, if you're adding open banking as a service, and lending as a service, that's maybe 3, maybe even 4 players there, but together that's a very attractive proposition that can help solve cost of living, great resignation, with very much a right fit of products at the right time for those customers. So if we're saying, hey, does freelancing with a stable income sound good, or does being able to send money abroad to family without worrying about the timing of your next paycheck sound good? It's those types of case studies or use cases that you end up making accessible to people, which I think is quite an attractive thing for a lot of people. And then in terms of the future, I'll come to have some sort of two perspectives in the future. What we'll see is traditional banks and financial services organizations are going to operate more like a production company, with their services being made up of many fintechs operating mainly invisibly behind the scenes. We'll see open banking becoming more of a commodity. Some of the other products will sort of trend down, like wage advancing will become quite cheap. And there'll be a lot of sort of consolidation and acquisition in that space, as people are looking to sort of acquire for differentiation. Then in terms of as we go into the future, we're seeing a lot more globalization. and quite interesting things come out of additional economies. Like Brazil is a great example where they've worked really closely with the regulators and are actually got quite a good innovation engine going there. But I'd say to sum it up, it sounds slightly cliche, but a customer-centric business model that leverages the best bits of everything, some of which are not directly yours, and yes, that includes generative AI, which is the latest buzzword. Is actually almost that route to success, and what we're probably going to see in the future as well.
Really interested to get your thoughts, John. It's all we've got time for. So thanks very much for joining us on this episode. But guys, this has been John Downie, the CEO and co-founder of SteadyPay. John, thanks very much for your time.
I appreciate it, Lee. Great talking. Thank you.
And guys, this has been the People and Planet podcast. If you've liked the content today, make sure to give us a like, a comment, or a share at www.thetechnetwork.io. Thanks.